Giulia, thanks very much for joining us today to speak about the luxury guest experience in the private jet sector.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, so my first question, would you say that guest expectations are evolving when it comes to private flying? And if so, in what way is that happening?
Of course, guest expectations are evolving. It is mostly based on the innovation that we can see worldwide as of today. In particular, they see many involvement in technology, and because of that, guests in the private jet sector continuously expect to have a seamless technology experience. Pre-departure, also on flight. Pre-departure about check-in, they don't want to engage with the people when they want to go on a flight, also because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So they started to care more about safety protocols and stuff like this. But also on flight, there's a huge part of the market, which they refer to, that is really interested in continuing doing business also on flight. So they need means like Wi-Fi and also other means of connection to be continuously connected with other peers.
Now, it's fair to say that over the last few years, we've seen a lot of new brands, new operators, new sort of ways of doing private flying that have entered the market. How do you think this has changed the dynamics of that industry?
After the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of operators wanted to join the private jet sector because a lot of people that used to fly business started flying private. So the new operators started entering, but they wanted to diversify the market. They have different business models. There are one based complete ownership, fractional ownership. There are also memberships, membership plans, but also normal charters like air taxi. And so they differentiate with this, but also with the services they provide. It could be leisure, it could be business. Based on the type of flight, they can provide different services because of the needs of the people. Also, customization and personalization is a lot important for the guests of private jet sector.
So which operators, new or old, would you highlight as doing sort of particularly interesting or innovative work at the moment?
At the moment, I think that NetJets, of course, has the bigger market share in the global market right now. And they have been innovative because of the fractional ownership plan that they provided, because it wasn't actually on the market when it started. They inserted this, and this gives the possibility to people to buy shares of an aircraft so that they don't have to think alone about all the maintenance costs. And also I think that VistaJet, which is new on the market, like from 2004, they started having these membership plans, mostly based on the business travelers, because they don't need to have an official aircraft or something. They only need to move from one place to another, have flexibility, and so this can provide this to them.
Now at Glion, you are currently the president of the Green Committee, so I'm sure that you have a very particular interest in all matters around sustainability. Now, from the private jet sector, how should private jet operators balance the guest experience they offer with the need to operate as sustainably as possible?
I don't think that the two of them are like, one doesn't exclude the other, of course. A lot of people right now are interested in sustainability, so for them to fly with a private jet company, which is sustainable, is better than flying with one that is not. Of course, there are some differences, because if they use maybe sustainable aviation fuel, which is a new fuel that they started using, which is 80% less pollutive than the normal one, you have more costs. But of course, you're doing something for the environment, so people are more involved in this. And also, a lot of companies, such as VistaJet as example, they provide some carbon offsetting programs, like they participate in this, and they try to educate also their guests to participate in this.
So looking to the future, what do you think might be the next big guest experience innovation in the private jet sector?
I think that probably is not a guest experience in flight, but the pre-flight and post-flight. In particular, they started testing VTOL, which are this type of aircraft, which work like aero taxi, which are electric, and they can departure and also land vertically. And they can take one person from the private jet they took to the center of the city in less time. They don't lose time if they need to work and continue working. They are also electric, so they're sustainable and they're better used than a normal taxi that they can take from the airport to the center of the city.
Giulia, thank you very much indeed for talking on this fascinating topic.
Thank you for having me.